Hello, this is Carrie Rhoades with another scrapbookpal.com video. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be featuring a stamp set by HoneyBee called Way to Goat. It has these adorable goat images as well as some other fun and cute barnyard animals and images and sentiments. So I'm going to open up this stamp set and pull out all the images I think I'm going to use for today's card and stamp them onto some Copic friendly cardstock that is white and ink that up with Lawn Fawn's Jet Black ink. That is a great ink for Copic coloring. Here's the markers that I'm going to use to color my images in today, and we'll go ahead and jump right into the coloring. I am new to coloring these goats. This is the first time I've colored them. So for this first goat, I kind of went in with an easy hand, trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to color him. So I'm going between three different E markers, E13 for my lightest, E25 for my midtone, and E27 for the darkest. So I am, like I said, just kind of playing it safe, and then I just keep going back and forth between these three colors till I get the ink coverage and blending that I want. And once I got the hang of coloring it, the second goat went a lot easier. And also, to be inspired to color in these goats, I actually Google searched some pictures of goats so I could get an idea for ways to color them and colors to use, and pretty much the sky's the limit. There are all different shades of brown and tan and red colors. There's gray and black, there's black and white. So pretty much just have fun coloring out these goats. For the white parts on the goat, I'm just using a T1 tonal gray marker to add a little bit of shadow. For goat number 2, I am bringing in some darker tonal gray markers. Tonal grays are my favorite. Like, if you don't know if you want to go with warm gray, cool gray, tonal gray is the perfect like in-between marker. And I kind of wanted this goat to look or have the feel of being black. So I went with my kind of darker T7 marker and then blend that out. If I was to use a warm gray marker, then this is a goat. It's still a goat. He's going to look more gray but with a brown undertone, so then it wouldn't have the look of, you know, being black or having black areas on him. Actually, this one I think is a girl. Yeah, because it can be milked. So her. Also using that T1 for the white areas. Now for my duck, I wanted to just do something fun, so I pulled out my BG72 marker for my darkest color and then my BG10 to blend it out. I just needed another touch of blue in this card because I'm going to have a blue sky. So I went for it and I really liked it. And then I colored out all the little images. The little grass pieces were a mix of Y17 and E13 to give them that golden yellow color but not be just in your face yellow. And then I will die cut these out. Each one of these images has a coordinating die. I love that. And I will set those aside and we're going to work on the background pieces. So I'm bringing in this buffalo plaid background stamp. First of all, love background stamps, and especially if they're a pattern like plaid, buffalo check, gingham, polka dots, stripes. I love them. So I am putting the background stamp in my MISTI while it's on its acetate sheet. And then I attached my cardstock to the lid of my MISTI. I'm inking up that stamp with antique linen, and then I will stamp that down. And this is going to be the ground. And I know the ground is not normally plaid, but it's cute. So I loved it. I like to use background stamps in fun ways like this. So obviously it's not covering the whole panel, and the panel's really big. It's 7 inches long by about, I believe I stamped or cut it to like 3 inches. And that's because I'm going to be making a card that in the end is 5 by 7. So I'm just trying to line that up to re-stamp the other end of it. So same color of ink there, antique linen, and then you can see it's kind of a grayish color on top of this particular yellow that I use. So I'll set that aside to dry because I'm going to die cut that out. And in the meantime, I'm bringing in my new Speckled Egg Distress Oxide pad. It's perfect for this card. I love it as a sky for this particular card with the kind of dusty colors for my somewhat of a farm scene. And I'm just keeping the edges darker and then letting that ink fade out towards the center. So I kind of have a white glow there in the middle. And I don't need to do the bottom because I am going to put my little grassy hill there. But I sprayed it with some water to get that splatter and soften out that blend. And I picked up the excess water with paper towel. While that's drying, we're going to bring in this grass dye, which is from the Mushroom Border Stamp Set by Fawn. It didn't quite cut the whole 7 inches, so you could recut it, or you could just snip it off with scissors. Now, I decided to do the scissors because it's just a teeny tiny area. Right here, it didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to. Like, there's quite a big dip there. It looks weird, but that's okay because we can fix that, right? We don't have to redo this whole thing. And in the end, I actually ended up covering both of the ends pretty good, so I could have just left it straight. But yeah, don't give up when you have those little snafus like that. Then I brought in my Wild Honey ink and did the edge of that just to brighten it up a little bit and give it some more depth. And then I pressed that down onto my glass mat and loosened that up with some water so I could do some splatter just to get some more interest on this panel and brighten it up a tiny bit more. And using the edge of a piece of window sheet really helps to get a fine splatter. So once I started doing that, I just love it. I will set that aside to dry and clean up my mess and give you a quick look. My paintbrush that I use actually had been used for sparkle before, so bonus, I got a little sparkle on it. Now I'm bringing in the Barn Scene Builder die set, also from HoneyBee, and I'm going to die cut some of these pieces to add to my scene. I'm not using the actual barn, but I have the windmill, the fence pieces, and the bales of hay. I will add those to my scene, and to give them a little bit more interest, I'm bringing in some markers and ink to just kind of give them a little bit more dimension. When you ink up the sides of something, the edges, it helps draw your eye in and it gives it a little bit of, like I said, dimension. So using my tonal gray on the white fence to give that a little depth, and then I will do the second piece, of course, to match, but just kind of like tracing around the edge, and it really adds a lot. Plus, this is a farm scene, like it should have that kind of shabby look and not everything be crisp and new looking. So I'm taking E25, a brown marker, to do the edge of my red windmill here. I didn't want it to look new. I wanted to have that little rustic feel. So now we can adhere everything to the card, starting with that hill. I wanted it to look like a grassy wheat field, like on a farm, you know, like tall, golden, wavy grasses. So tell me what you think in the comments below of the buffalo plaid on that hill. So I added the fence pieces to either side with foam, and then I'm going to stamp right in the center of that, "I've goat your back." Isn't that cute? And then we'll add the bales of hay, just gluing those behind the little grassy hill. And I will add my duck with foam squares and some flowers. I did add the second set of flowers there, but I just laid it there. I wasn't sure where I wanted it. And then I added the gray and black goat just as a placement so I could add the other goat, and I put both of them on with foam squares. But sometimes you just got to lay your pieces on there for reference, and that's what I was doing there. And then you kind of figure out where you want them before you glue them down. And I added some of those little tiny die cut grass edges and around my objects, and it really helps finish off the scene. But I thought I needed one more thing, so I pulled out my stamp set and found this cute little chick that would be great to finish this off. Colored it and die cut it out, and I'm gluing it right on top of the bales of hay. Now I'm bringing in a white gel pen to add some highlights to each of the images. I have really been working on my white gel pen skills, and once you find that you have kind of figured something out, you really want to do it a lot. So I really put a lot of highlights onto this card. So it just, I don't know, it adds that little extra something special that stamped images need. And so I'm loving it. A couple tricks: I like to warm up my gel pen before I go. I draw on my skin. I know my mom told me not to do that in elementary school, but it really works the best for this. Also, you want to use a really light hand when you're doing your gel pen and let that ball really roll freely. So those are my 2 tips on gel pens. Now I'm practicing with my Autumn Red Nuvo drops so I can put a little heart onto my card, and then it just wasn't quite the right heart shape. So I took a toothpick and just went right down the center, and that gave it a little bit more defined heart shape, and I was happy with it. Okay, on to the card base. Remember, this is a 5x7 card. So my card base started out at 10 inches by 7, scored it in half at 5 inches, and then folded it. So I have a 5x7 card. The panel on top of that is 1/4 of an inch smaller. So it would be 6 3/4 by 5 3/4, the panel that I'm gluing on right now. So that is my card. And then on the inside of this card, I like to add a little something. So I had a little left over of that buffalo plaid from when I die cut out the grassy hill. I cut that into a 1-inch strip, glued it on the inside, and then I thought a little cute farm animal would be nice there. So I colored a bunny and one of the single flowers, and I went ahead and die cut those out so I could stick them on the inside of this card. I just love having cute little things on the inside of my card to continue the fun when the recipient opens up their card. So there you have the cute little bunny and flower just there in the right-hand corner to finish it off. And that is today's card. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you have the stamp set, you have some inspiration for it. And if you don't, you can find this stamp set and the dies that I used at the scrapbookpal.com shop. It's linked for you below. You can also find this card on the Scrapbook Pal blog as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day and happy stamping. Bye.